Hello, everyone. How are you guys today? So today I'm going to share with you a topic on tax residence of individuals determined by robotic process automation. Okay, so since I'm looking at everything um, under the sun related to robotic process automation. So let's have a look at this issue of tax residence of individuals determined by robotic process automation. So what kind of tax? It's taxation, affecting Malaysians. I'm a Malaysian living in Malaysia. So I'm going to look at the Malaysian tax, and we're going to look at the test of residence status with regards to Malaysian individuals or any individuals residing in Malaysia. And let's have a look at this subtopic first. Okay, test of residence status. In Malaysian taxation, the residence status of an individual is a critical determinant of their tax liability. Robotic process automation can assist in processing and evaluating certain criteria. However, RPA bots cannot independently determine residence status in all cases. Okay, now let's see what is the tax residence test in Malaysia for individuals. So the first part is going to look at the Income Tax Act 1967, Section 7. An individual is considered a tax resident in Malaysia if they meet Okay, let me have a look. Let me share that again. Okay, sorry for that. So under the Income Tax Act 1967, Section 7, an individual is considered a tax resident in Malaysia if they meet any one of the following qualifying periods. Number one is the 183-day rule, present in Malaysia for at least 183 days in a calendar year. Number two, linked period, less than 183 days in a year plus linked to another qualifying year. Number three, 3-year continuous presence, linked to years before and after. Leap year rule, 90 days presence linked with 3 out of 4 years being resident. Absence due to specific reasons, for example, treatment, government duty, okay. And finally, let me just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So about 5 points that you have to look at. Okay. And okay, just for guidance, we got all this information from the IRB, we call it IRB, Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia. Okay. And let's see. Can RPA determine tax residence? So first of all, the task is extracting travel records, entry or exit dates from HR systems or immigration data. So can we automate this? High possibility. And what is the robotic process automation function? Bots can pull data logs from internal systems, emails, or scan forms. And next, we have another task, calculating total days present in Malaysia per year. Automation feasibility, high, yes. And what is the RPA function? Simple date calculation logic can be used. Next one, the task of checking presence across multiple years. Is there automation feasibility? Yes, high feasibility. And what is the RPA function? Bots can compare data across calendar years for linked periods. Okay, next one. Applying basic residence rules, 183-day rule. Okay. Automation feasibility high, RPA function. If programmed with rules, bots can apply them consistently. Next, flagging cases that require manual review, automation feasibility high. The RPA function, the RPA bots can escalate borderline or complex cases to the tax team. Okay. So what RPA cannot automate? Okay. The first task is interpreting intent. For example, intend to make Malaysia a permanent home or habitual abode. So this requires subjective judgment, which boards cannot determine. Number two, applying tiebreaker rules in dual resident cases. Okay, and this depends on legal or treaty analysis. Third one, determining exceptions such as medical leave, diplomatic absence. So the reason is involves assessing documentation and intent. Number four, handling appeals or disputes with Inland Revenue Board. Reason is requires human negotiation and defense, so you cannot use the bot for that. Okay, so example workflow RPA could handle. Number one, access employee travel logs or passport scans. Number two, extract and count days spent in Malaysia per year. Number three, apply 183-day and linked year rules. Identify if tax residence conditions are satisfied. Number five, auto-generate resident status report for tax team. And finally, flag exceptions. For example, less than 183 days, inconsistent years for manual review. So the tools that can be used, the RPA tools we could use UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Power Automate. Data sources, immigration records, HRS, Workday, Excel, scan documents. AI add-ons, optional, such as OCR, to extract dates from passport pages or entry stamps. So we're going to look at one example. Okay, one example question on the Malaysian tax residence determination. So let's have a look at this example. Fatima is a Malaysian citizen employed by a multinational company. She spent the following days in Malaysia over the past 3 years. In 2022, she spent 165 days between January and June. In 2023, she spent 210 days for the full year. In 2024, she spent 85 days scattered travel due to overseas assignment. Okay, she returned to Malaysia briefly in 2024 for medical treatment for 30 days and then returned abroad. Her employer has asked whether she qualifies as a tax resident in Malaysia for the year 2024. Okay, so you've been given all this information. So what is interesting here is that we want to look at number one, based on Section 7 of the Income Tax Act 1967, determine whether Fatima is a tax resident for year 2024. Number two, explain the basis used to assess her tax residence. Number three, state which parts of this analysis can be automated using Robotic Process Automation, RPA, and which parts require human intervention. I guess number three is the most interesting part, but we need to start from the beginning. Let's have a look at the solution. Days in Malaysia in 2024. So she spent work-related presence of 85 days and 30 days for medical treatment. So in total, 115 days. So this is less than 183-day rule, right? Okay, so now let's have a look at the second solution. Applicable residence test, okay, section 7(1)(b), okay. She's in Malaysia for less than 183 days in the basis year, which is 2024. And the period is linked to a period of more than 183 days in the adjacent year, which is 2023. So in 2023, she spent more than 183 days, which is 210 days. And 2023 is qualified as a linked year. So in 2024, she only spent 115 years, including the medical treatment. Okay. So in conclusion, Fatima qualifies as a tax resident for 2024 under Section 7(1)(b) due to a linked year, 2023, and qualifying reason for absence, which is the medical treatment. Okay, now that's done. That's really easy because that is the stated rule. So you just need to apply the rules to the information given for Fatima. But now what we want to look at, which is more interesting, is like which part can actually be automated and which part cannot be automated. So what we can see here is the first task, extracting date of entry and exit date from immigration logs or HR system. So RPA automation, yes. RPA function, bots can pull dates from structured data or scan travel records using OCR. Okay, that's the first one. Second one, the task is counting total days present per year, RPA automation, yes. RPA function, bots calculate total days using date logic. Okay, you know that. The third one, the task is identifying linked years with more than 183 days. But you need to code this. You need to do programming to set the days of 183 using the rules given by the IRB in Malaysia. Next, RPA automation, yes. RPA function, RPA compares across multiple years. And let's see this. Applying basic Section 7 rules, 183 days, okay. RPA automation, yes. RPA function, rule-based logic can be programmed. And then we have the task. Next task is detecting valid exceptions, such as medical leave. Okay. RPA automation, partially, because, this is something in which the bots are not trained. Like, they cannot say that all exceptions are medical leave. I mean, for everyone in the world. So that's a bit tricky for the bots to figure out. So bots can actually flag medical or emergency keywords, but final judgment requires human review. Okay, next one, explaining legal reason, statutory interpretation, RPA automation, no way. Okay, so legal reasoning, okay, needs a tax advisor's professional interpretation. Okay. So what we have here, drafting the conclusion and explanation for tax report. Can the bot do that? Partially. Bots can draft templates but need review for accuracy and tone, because this is the tax report, the final report. And since some of the work the bots cannot even do, so they cannot actually publish the whole report. Okay. So parts requiring human judgment. This is very interesting. The first task is determining the validity of medical leave as a qualifying absence. Okay. RPA cannot fully handle it because you don't program. Everyone would have an exception of a medical leave. So the tax advisor needs to work with the IRB guidelines and case law. Applying nuances, legal interpretation of Section 7.1. Okay. Why RPA cannot fully handle it? Requires judgment, legal training, familiarity with tax authority practices. Okay. And finally, advising the client or employer formally. Why RPA cannot fully handle it is because it involves accountability and legal implications. Thank you very much. I think it's a very short video, but it's just like a teaser to share with you on on what RPA can do and what RPA cannot do. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.